Hey, we are live. Welcome to the WP Agency Summit, this time in the correct link. So if you caught the first try of this summit, of this webinar, that was actually me using the wrong StreamYard link. Apologies for that. But now I am back with Akshat Choudhary, who runs BlogVault, MalCare, and WP Remote, one of our silver sponsors. Akshat, very briefly, can you tell us a little bit about who you are, what you are doing with these three companies?
All right. So thanks, Jan. Glad to be here. A second time in 5 minutes. So, and so I'm the founder of BlogVault, as Jan had mentioned. BlogVault, MalCare, and WP Remote. Those are three products. BlogVault is a WordPress backup service. MalCare is a WordPress security service, and WP Remote lets agencies manage multiple websites and lets them run their care plans or maintenance plans effectively.
And that is the exact reason why I'm so excited that you are on this event, because you are going to talk about how to increase your maintenance business revenue. And you've got a presentation for us today. But before we dive into the slides, people, please ask your questions during the slides. I asked Akshat beforehand, and it's totally okay if we interrupt him all the time during the slides. So there is no such thing as a stupid question. I just wanted to make that sure. Don't hesitate, don't be shy. If you have a question, Akshat is here to help you, as am I, and as are all the other people attending the summit and speaking at this summit. But with that said, Akshat, if you want to bring up the slides, then we can dive right into it.
All right. So
Brilliant. Let's make them full screen. We can see it. Perfect. Oh, Anastasios is here with us again. Anastasios, hey, great topic. Can't wait. We can't neither. So Akshat, take it away.
all right. So thank you again, Jan, for having me. Thank you, everyone, for attending this. Oh, I'm on the wrong slide. Here we go. So I'm happy to be and excited to be a part of WP Agency Summit. Today, the topic I'm covering is something which I'm very excited about: maintenance businesses and how to increase revenue. Maintenance business and being part of WordPress ecosystem for the past more than 10 years. Uh, this is something which we have seen really evolve over time. Maintenance care plans have really taken off, and we think they're one of the best things that have happened to the WordPress ecosystem, especially agencies. So let's get started on it. As Jan has introduced me, I'm Akshat Choudhary. I'm the founder of BlogVault. We've covered three of our products. There's a fourth one, which is a completely free product. So we've already covered WP Remote, BlogVault, and MalCare. Migrate Guru is our fourth product, which is a free-to-use migration plugin, which can migrate almost any site from any web host to anywhere else for free, independent of the size that it is of. All right, so as I was saying, maintenance care plans are great, and they are great for agencies as well as for customers. So websites are not like a static entity where once you create a website, you you just forget about it. There is a lot more to websites. Websites are they need work on an ongoing basis, and to make them effective, you are doing things with the website. Website is getting updated, its content getting updated, and things like that. So the software itself is getting the plugins. Everything else needs to be updated. So there's a lot more happening with the website. So it requires constant care. And as a client, as a business, you don't want to be spending all your time and effort doing these activities for two reasons. One, you don't have the expertise on it, and the second, you want to focus on your own business, right? And that's what you want to focus on, making sure that you are serving your customers well. So as an owner of a website, you don't want the website to you don't want to manage the website yourself. And this is where an agency comes in. An agency, having built the website, and sometimes not even having built the website, can offer has this expertise. Agencies know ins and out of WordPress, and they know what makes for a great WordPress site, how to keep it updated, how to keep it running all the time. And so it's a match made in heaven in that way. And uh, from an agency perspective, it's also there's a second benefit to it. And as an agency owner, having to fight for clients every day is a very stressful thing. Whereas a care plan or maintenance plans gives you this recurring revenue, which it serves, which really greatly reduces uh, the stress of running your business, because it is this consistent money that keeps coming in. The second thing, the second big advantage of it is that it lets you have ongoing relationship with clients. So when the clients uh, need more, something more to be added to the website, or then you are right there to assist them, and that can lead to other opportunities. So care plans are great, and today we'll talk about how to make even these care plans even more valuable, not to yourself as well as to your clients. So this under care plans, you will what we have seen, especially working with hundreds or of thousands of agencies uh, with the WP Remote, is that typically under care plans, you offer under the basic plan, you offer something like regular updates, uptime monitoring to make sure that the websites are running. A few of you offer small tasks to, if required, to fix the website, and finally you do reports. But there's one more actually, and we have seen that common. So that's you also include regular backups. So you'll do daily automatic backups, or maybe some of you use weekly automatic backups. But these are some of the value you bring to almost uh, any any of your care plans. And what we want to do is, how do you build beyond it? So in my opinion, there are two big levers you can use, or big value adds you can use, which I think our clients also need, and they're not well equipped to solve themselves, which can again help you charge a lot higher amount on your maintenance plans. Okay, one of them is easy, another one is slightly more tricky. One of them I think we feel is much easier to sell. The second one is a lot trickier to sell. We'll start with the easier one first, and that's performance. And why do I say it's an easier thing to solve? So first thing is, it's extremely important. A slow website, nobody wants a slow website, and slow websites are ineffective, right? And we'll talk a little more about it in future, but it's an extremely important thing. So we're not talking about something which is trivial, or something uh, which is uh, yeah which is not adding great value. So by helping customers performance, you can add a great amount of value to them. And
yeah, and that's something, if I might interrupt real quickly, Akshat. Performance is something that in the beginning, when the website project starts, your customers might probably not even be aware of that performance is a thing, because they just expect the website to be fast. But then what you can sell them on is, over time, I always use this analogy to Windows, that slows down over time as you're using it. It's the same for a website. If you don't take care of a website and you just keep slashing new plugins in, and you don't optimize the database every now and then, and you don't monitor the server and all that stuff, the website slows down too. And that is something that, if you find a good analogy to explain it on, the clients will easily understand. And that's where the recurring service that you want to provide really comes into play.
no, great point, and I'm glad you interjected, Jan. And yeah, it does take it great, and you can have so many great analogies of Windows, or even in the real world, a car needs to be maintained. You need to oil it, and you need to make sure that you take care of your car from the performance perspective. Otherwise, while for it to work, move fast and not break down. So performance is performance, the good thing, at least in what we have seen, is there is a great awareness around performance. So, and I'm sure as you have had conversations with your own clients, you'd have seen that people want people want fast websites.
Yeah.
And
We
sorry, go
do
ahead.
have a really good client, a really good question coming in from Elizabeth. And that is something that we might want to address right now. And that is what's been stopping me from offering care plans. Or I just want to bring this onto your awareness so that we can touch base upon that later on. I'm not sure if that comes in your slides. But Elizabeth struggled with clients that reached out to her via WhatsApp at 10 p.m. on a Friday night, which is nothing that anybody wants to happen. So do you have some thoughts on that right now, or are you tackling this in the slides later on, Akshat?
So I'm not tackling that in the slides, but it's a great question, and I think this is somewhere. This is something which, while I'm not really the expert on it, but I've seen Christina Romero, who's a fantastic, who runs a fantastic group as well as a coach, as I think as well as a tutorial on building care plans. She talks about it where she says that as part of the onboarding of clients, you just need to set the ground rules.
Yeah.
Okay. That okay. This is what you are available at. The care plans are not to make your life worse as an agency. It's to make your life better. Okay.
Yeah.
And customer and clients understand it. Right. So as long as the ground rules are very clearly set, and you know that you are using quality services and products in the back end which are not breaking down all the time, then you know that this is not something you need to worry about. So you need to set the ground rules around what the client, what uh, when you are available, what you are available for, because feature creep is something which you have to be very very wary of when you're offering such a service, because clients, you need to ensure that clients are not asking you for the clients understand what you're offering, and building it as part of the package is very important. And don't think, and it's again, it's very easy to feel very defensive on this, that, oh no, okay, if I say no, people will not value my product, or they'll still tremendously value it, because there are so many things you're offering, doing the updates in or doing the backups, or making sure that you're there when things really go wrong, and having that expertise is invaluable.
Yeah, I agree. Especially you need to be very, very strong on enforcing those ground rules. And when you're onboarding customers, you need to educate them on this is the channel where you can reach me. And here's why it's bad to use WhatsApp, because WhatsApp just goes to me and not to the team. And even I would even go as far and say it, even if you don't really have a team, I would still make that claim, because you can onboard a VA at any point in time and your client doesn't know about that and he doesn't need to know about that. So I would really say that be very strict about the way you receive those tickets, and be very cautious, as you said, Akshat, is what you are offering. So if there are, if you're offering a care plan that includes unlimited edits, that's something that you have to be very careful of on how to explain what unlimited edits really is. You might want to even take on a white label agency partner to provide this service. And Elizabeth, you're making a good point here. Some kind of ticketing system might also have. That is exactly the way to go, because with the ticketing system, you can distribute the tickets in the future as your team grows, or even if not, your client has a good way to reach you. So we hope that answered the question, Akshat. Please continue with the slides. And
Yeah,
Elizabeth
that
and
was a
Anastasia.
fantastic question.
Yeah, Anastasios, Elizabeth, and all the others watching. If you have further questions, just bring us back to the topic and we'll get over the questions.
Yeah, so feel free to ask some of these questions, and there are many people on the internet who are much better at answering some of these. And I've learned from those, like in this specific case of Cristina Romero.
Yeah, definitely. There's another good comment, James. Thanks for chiming in. That those small task updates are done only during business hours. Really, really good point.
Right. I think the most important thing to remember with these is they are meant to make your life better and not worse. As an agency owner, that's very, very important. Just the idea behind having a maintenance plan is to, to remove stress, and they can, and they can still add a huge amount of value to your clients. Okay, so getting back on getting back to the topic, performance is very, very important. And the good thing is there's a great amount of awareness around performance. Your clients, when they're using Amazon, when they're using Google, they are using Apple product, they're used to having a highly responsive environment. They're used to having highly responsive technology, and they expect the same uh, from their own websites. And because Google has done such a huge amount of uh, you know they have really evangelized performance and its impact on SEO to such an extent that clients are generally aware of it, at least as we see it. In case they are not, this is something you might want to educate them on. But the impact of performance on SEO is well documented, and this makes your job of selling performance uh, much easier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Couldn't agree more, and especially with those people evangelizing Google and their algorithms and the page speed score numbers and stuff like that. Educate them what real performance is, why real performance is important. Talk to them about the perceived performance and the time it takes to engage with the website rather than chasing these 99 or 100% scores. And oh, that's a nice one, Anastasios. What are some common pitfalls that can easily be avoided for someone getting into maintenance plans now? Can you recommend any systems that we can rely on to help us? Oh yes, you've got the man himself here, Anastasios. That is WP Remote's exact job that you are describing.
Yes, so there are many aspects of it, of pitfall, like many challenges you can run into. I think I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the person who had asked the earlier question. That is actually the biggest pitfall you can talk about, you can think of.
Elizabeth, yeah.
Elizabeth, yes, what the question Elizabeth had asked. That's a very common pitfall, and I'm glad that came up early in the call. But there are other pitfalls uh, around documenting what you require, around having the right processes. So the reason why, as an agency, are able to do these do the updates better than your clients and do it at a price point which is still uh, feasible for most clients is because you have great processes. And so beyond your expertise, you also have great processes, and you have the right set of tools. So when you combine tools, processes plus expertise, you are able to scale and build uh, a good service. I think that there are infinite number of pitfalls, and again, I wish I was the best person to answer this question. The reality is, I'm also not the best person simply because I don't run an agency myself. Right. So
I
while we
think
built this,
you've talked about some very important points though, and that is establishing processes, being very clear about the expectations that clients can get. James's recommendations about only talking to clients in business hours, only doing work in business hours, except for emergencies. So when a website is down, then obviously you want to look into this or have somebody else in your team do this. But if you set expectations right and frame the package of your maintenance plan around, we are here from you Monday to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or whatever your work hours is, I think you can build a pretty solid business just with that. And then obviously, as you bring on more clients, you can bring on a team. You can decide on whether you want to partner with a white label agency. There are plenty of these. One of them is our gold sponsor, WP Buffs. So and as Akshat said, have solid processes, have solid tools. So WP Remote is one of them. Main WP is another one that you can check out. So yeah, Akshat, back to your
No,
slides.
thanks, Jan. And yeah, and some of the gotchas, I'll tell you, there's like almost every aspect of it. There are gotchas, and there are things you need to be wary of. So as we proceed with this, you will see some of the ways to think about it, and then you can extrapolate it to other features or other parts of your offering. Okay, so coming back to the presentation, we see that Google has obviously educated your customers to a great extent. Also, uh, there are great number of studies which have said that a slower website leads to lower conversions and lower engagement. Amazon has spoken very yeah, they've covered they have again been very vociferous around how their I think what 100 milliseconds in response time leads to millions and millions of dollars uh, in lost revenue. So as the website gets slower, they have measured it, and they've seen that it leads to, there's a direct correlation with the amount of money they can make, or so customers want fast websites, and as an agency, they will come to you for fast websites. And fast websites are not a one-time process, right? And it's a huge thing. There's no silver bullet around. Uh, so there are no silver bullets around uh, performance, but there are so many aspects to it. So offering a performance audit is a good starting point of engaging the clients on performance. There are different tools out there. I think Lighthouse is my go-to tool right now when it comes to performance, but there are other ways of measuring performance. I don't want to go too much into tools and more around concepts as part of this presentation, because there are so many different tools and everyone has their own preferred way of solving some of these problems. So you would do a performance audit, get a sense of what is going on with the site, and you'll realize that there are no silver bullets when it comes to performance, right? And it's not something which you do once and forget about it. It is something which has to be monitored and optimized on an ongoing basis. Uh, there is a huge amount of value you can add, and this is why we feel that performance is something that has to be a part of your maintenance package. Okay, there are different, and this is again something you will see we cover in terms of it throughout our through the presentation. Is so people, you have different levels of maintenance plans. Most of you have different levels depending on different factors. So if you have a basic level plan, then under the basic level plan, you do something as simple as performance tracking, and you do maybe a performance quarterly performance review, or yearly performance review, or one of these things, and to help to educate the client as to what's happening with their website in terms of performance. By doing these reviews, it opens up opportunities to upsell them on either optimizing their website on a one-time basis, or to upsell them to an advanced level. Okay, in advanced level, you can offer something like caching. So you can use a whole plethora of plugins out there to make sure that the website is cached and the cache is working well. We can offer image optimizations. So one of the biggest challenges around one of the biggest reasons why websites are slow is because the images are not optimized, and they need to be optimized. And there are tools out there, but most of these tools are are a subscription service. So it is something which you can offer to your clients under your maintenance plans. You can also do one-off database optimizations, because as you use plugins and as the website is operating, uh, there's stuff which gathers into the nooks and crannies of the database, and you can optimize those to make the website faster. And finally, you can offer CDN. So you can offer your own CDN, which you know works well for your clients, so that again they don't need to mess around with these settings. A lot of us take some of these things for granted, and so when it works, it works. But many times they break, and when they break, your clients are very ill-equipped to handle those issues. right? And it's our expertise which which enables us to just take it for granted. But we should be wary of this. And by being able to offer this on an ongoing basis as a service, you can ensure that as the clients are working with you, their websites are truly fast and independent of the web host they are on. Many of these things, while web hosts promise really fast website, let's accept it. They don't do image optimization. Sometimes the caching is not well integrated, and there are things which you need to tweak. So, when it comes to those factors, it is good to have an expert take care of uh, this important aspect of a website on an ongoing basis. So, uh, so this is around performance of website and how you can offer it under different package levels. Uh,
I think having different levels also has the advantage that you can decide or almost decide on which level gets sold the most, because that usually is the mid tier of what you're offering. And then it gives your customers the choice of what tier they want to go. And you might be surprised by how many go for the highest tier. But then it helps you position the package that you can deliver the easiest in the mid tier. That is something I would do. And Anastasios has another good question. Can you highlight, based on your experience, some key metrics other than load time that should be included in the performance audit and that are easy for the client to understand? Anastasios, please review the session with Adam Silverstein on the summit. He talks about a thing called Web Vitals, which is something that Google introduced and that helps you measure, for example, the time it takes for a website to load so far that visitors can engage and interact with the website. Or it helps you identify how long it takes to load the largest piece of content on a website. And I would use those numbers to talk to the client, to educate them. And I think they're even part of Lighthouse by now, if I'm not mistaken. They're certainly in the Chrome browser. You can definitely run those, or you just Google Web Vitals test and you'll find a lot more information about this.
Yeah, Jan has covered it better than I can. Be wary of things like, and I think GT metrics itself is moving away from those page speed scores and the likes, because they are very misleading. At least at the the state of art has moved forward to such a great extent that that the page speed technology is more than 10 years old. And so those metrics are not necessarily the right ways of uh, measuring the way the speed of a website. And there are so many factors to it. And I think Web Vitals is again amazing, and it's not yet fully integrated into Google, but over time you will see that Google will give more and more weightage to Web Vitals. So that was a great question. So I'll move on to the next part, which is oh, okay. So darn, I forgot this one. The one thing you need to be careful about is avoid committing to code reviews. Okay, some websites will be slow because of just the structure, and as a person offering maintenance, you should make sure that you are not going to review something at the code level, right? And that's something which you need to avoid, because that is a rabbit hole which can just suck you in and use up all your time. And yeah, it's a lose-lose situation. If you ever want to get in, if you have the expertise to do code reviews, then charge appropriately for it. It's a highly technical and a highly valuable service. So for your normal maintenance packages, do not agree to doing code reviews. Very clearly set the boundaries. And again, this comes back to the pitfalls which we spoke about earlier, right? So when it comes to performance, make sure that you are drawing the boundaries correctly. and not all sites are same. So if there are e-commerce sites or membership sites, you should charge more for these websites, because performance even setting up caching or CDN or things like that on these websites is a lot more complex, right? So you can these websites are more valuable to your clients, so you can charge more for such websites.
We have a really good story for that if we have time. And that is around an e-com service or e-commerce website that I maintained for a couple of months only, because they moved to Shopify at one point. And there was a WooCommerce site that I took over from a development agency who pretty badly messed up the site. And they custom coded some functionality that my team had to had to fix. And that shop was doing 6 figures a month. So they regularly turned over 200K, 300K, depending on the promotions they were running. It was a really well-established business. And I charged 4 figures per month in maintenance for that, because obviously if a site that big goes down, you have to respond within minutes to not have them lose too much money, because they'd spend a reasonable amount on paid traffic every single day. And what was the challenge is, to highlight Akshat's point that every site is different, is you have to cater for those situations in your care plans. So I would not recommend onboarding a WooCommerce site on your smallest care plan, for example, because WooCommerce itself comes with so many ins and outs and pitfalls and stuff that can go wrong and eventually will, that you just cannot you cannot maintain a WooCommerce site on your smallest plan, whatever that is.
Yeah, that's a fantastic story, and and it just adds to it. So these are some things to be wary of while you are building these plans and making sure that you don't, let's just keep that baseline that we need to reduce stress and not increase our blood pressure. So through our maintenance service, and by carefully selecting and making sure that the more valuable customers who are have more complexity, we are charging them appropriately. Okay, so I'll go on to the next onto the next topic, and that's security. So performance is one thing which again we do see in many care plans, but we also see that many people shy away from it, and that's one way to handle to offer performance to your clients and get more, add more value to them and get more money from them, charge them more. So the second one is security, again something which is very, very close to our heart, and again extremely, extremely important. The difference between performance and security is that while in the WordPress circles we do hear a lot about WordPress security, the overall awareness is on the lower side. And until unless it's almost like getting bitten by a snake, right? Until you do it, you're like, okay, fine, it's very, very rare, it's not going to happen to me. And fortunately, it does not happen very often, but when it does, it's scary as hell. So because of this reason, because people don't experience it firsthand very often, awareness is generally lower, and which is why you need to spend a lot more time selling security or educating your customers around security. And all of this can be done without scaremongering, or without there is a lot of snake oil being sold, and without doing any of that, you can still communicate to your customers the importance of security, the pitfalls of not taking care of it, because the damage can be incredible. It can almost be a matter of life and death when it comes to to the website, and often the business, and often businesses themselves. So we need to educate this aspect to the clients, that if a website gets hacked, it can get blacklisted by Google. If it gets blacklisted by Google, forget traffic. It'll have a massive impact on SEO. You can forget traffic for days, weeks, or even months. And we have seen all three, right? It will be suspended by Webhost, because Webhosts hate to have a bad character or bad website running on their on their servers, because it takes up a lot of their resources. So they're just going to shut down the website. And you need to communicate that these dangers to our customers. There are going to be outgoing spam, so your website's IP is going to get blocked, right? Hackers will steal data. They are going to, even if you use something like a Stripe or I think a Stripe is a perfect example, where you know that you're not passing credit card information through your site. Even their client hackers can install JavaScript, add JavaScript to your site and steal credit card information. They can also obviously steal data sitting on your website, which can be very, very important. And there can be personal information in there. But security can also have a massive impact on performance. We often see that, suddenly you'll see a website slowing down one fine day, and when you go deeper, take a deeper look onto it, you'll realize that the site has been hacked, and because the hack has damaged the website, its performance has degraded significantly. And finally, if GDPR and I think equivalent regulations around the world are just picking up, and security is an important aspect of GDPR compliance. So your clients need to be told that they need to keep their GDPR expects clients or people to take utmost care of their websites as part of compliance. So this is not something which we can go easy on, and there are legal implications of doing so. So all of this, if you communicate,
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
And if you want to dive deeper into this topic, you can watch the replay in the Ayobenda booth that we did today, and they really dive deep into GDPR compliance and what it takes to protect your website, or the client's websites rather, and your own, obviously. Sorry, Akshat.
Yeah, no, this is this is the beauty of this summit, that a lot of these topics, they are just so interlinked, and you can get in-depth analysis of a very small aspect of it. But that analysis is what you really require to, I think, build your business, your agency business. So yeah, GDPR compliance is again something which you can communicate to your clients, and in the process of doing so, this is how we build a story around why clients really need, or websites really need, security. Right now, again, going back to how we did it for performance, here we'll have different tiers. You have at the basic tier, you can offer hardening, where you use a plugin. There are many plugins which let you harden websites, and there are lots of good hardening exercises and bad hardening exercises. I'm not going to include that in as part of this this conversation, simply because that's again a very, very big topic. But you can add measures around a password policy, and the likes and permissions and some of those things, and that will improve the security aspect of the business of the website by a bit. Does it is it like a big game changer for the website? No, but every little thing helps. So you can offer this basic hardening as part of your uh, uh, as part of your lowest level plan. As we move to the intermediate plan, this is where it can get, and this is it can get very interesting and a lot more valuable, and again lets you sell sell a much higher value package to your clients. In this level, you can offer things like a firewall. There are plugin based firewalls. You should offer malware scanning. So make sure that, see, websites will get hacked. Whatever tools you use, websites will get hacked. Even if you use a firewall, which is an order of magnitude better than basic hardening when it comes to protecting your website, it's still a limited measure, right? And at your intermediate layer plan, you can offer, so beyond firewall, you have to offer malware scanning, because websites can still get hacked. And when they get hacked, you want to be the first one to know. So you should offer a good malware scanner, so that you can be like, okay, fine, if things go wrong, I'm there to, at least I know that something is going wrong. We'll talk about remediation in the next step, and you should offer security reports, so that customers are aware of what you are doing for their website. So the fact that you are using a firewall or you're doing malware scanning should be and can be communicated to your clients through these reports, so that they are aware that they are paying whatever they are paying for, they're getting the value. And finally, at the highest level, you can offer things like guaranteed malware removal. Because when the site gets hacked, it's not sufficient to just be like, okay, yeah, your site got hacked. You need to fix it, and that guarantee uh, can be hugely valuable. Having an expert who is going to help you with that process and just monitor it and understand what is going on and communicate with the right vendors is really important. One thing I would be slightly wary of while offering this malware removal guarantee is you might be tempted to doing these malware removals yourself. I have rarely seen an agency having that level of expertise, and you can very easily make things worse. So be very wary of it, price it into your plans, and then use experts around this to help you solve the problem. Okay. You can also use cloud-based firewalls. There are a few of these out there. They are similar to, so there are some differences and there are some advantages to cloud-based firewalls. While I think certain websites can definitely benefit hugely from having a cloud-based firewall, which can uh, you know which can get DDoSed, uh, or can have much more sophisticated attacks. For those, a cloud-based firewall can be valuable, and you can offer that as part of your advanced offering. Okay. uh, there are still gotchas around this. So when you're offering these, it's very, so remember that when the sites get hacked, they get hacked because of a vulnerability. These vulnerabilities might be there on the plugin or a theme. Very rarely is it on WordPress site itself. Now, uh, frankly, diagnosing how the site got hacked is beyond expertise of most people, and many a times that data is not available. So make sure that you communicate correctly that, okay, fine, your site got hacked, I helped you remove the malware, uh, but I cannot do more than that. I cannot tell you how it got hacked. That's a completely different exercise, and vast majority of us are not equipped to answer those questions. Neither should you commit to fixing underlying issues, because that can be present at a code level. And again, it's a recurring theme from what the gotcha we spoke about earlier. We should avoid reading code or solving things at the code level under the maintenance plans. We just don't charge enough money to solve those things, and we often don't have that expertise. So often the right answer to fixing this is to keep things up to date and making sure that we address the situation promptly. In case people are not under intermediate plan, do remember to charge them for cleanups. Backups, restoring from backups will not help you solve the problem. So take help of experts, and make sure that you charge your clients for the same. Okay, a couple of things which we have learned over time working with so many customers around this is, then this is I think the longest sentence as part in the presentation. We need to take care of security even when customers won't pay for it. So we have these clients who are on basic plan, who are on intermediate plan, and they have not really, they're on basic plans. In intermediate plan, you might not have security scanning as part of it, but when things really go wrong, like a site gets hacked, these clients are going to come to you anyways, and you need to be prepared to take care of them, because this is possibly one of the worst days in the client's website's lifespan, and you have to be ready to help them out, as
Yeah.
well as uh, you know have the right tool set in your hand to assist them. Otherwise, you can very easily lose such clients, because even though you very clearly mapped it out, saying that this is outside the scope.
This is such a good point, Akshat. And I just want to chime into this to say that it is impossible as an agency owner or freelancer to stay up to date with everything that is happening in WordPress security. Just before this, I think 2 weeks before this event started, there was this massive hack in the Visual Composer and the WP Bakery page builder that impacted like 4 million websites. You cannot stay up to date with this in day-to-day when running a business. You need a tool. And even if it's the free WordFence tool, you need something to slap onto your customers' websites that protects the website. It monitors, and at least it notifies you if things go wrong. And then if they do, I've been there more than once that a website that I've built has gotten hacked for whatever reason. And I tried to clean them up because I have an interest in web security myself, and at some point when I have some free time, whenever that will happen, I want to learn how to do ethical hacking and stuff like that, just because I think it's fun and it's cool to understand that. But diving into the trenches and going into the database to see where all the malware has been added, and diving into the file system and searching for files that aren't supposed to be there, or comparing files to their original version in the repository of WordPress and all the themes and plugins you have installed. This is a rabbit hole to go down to that takes easily an entire week if you're not doing this day to day. And then at that point, why not invest in a tool that helps you solve this with one click, ideally?
Right, and be prepared for it. Let's be clear, because in maintenance plans, at the end of it, we have the best interest of our clients in mind. And if in the interest of time, I'm just going to rush forward. I think I have a couple of slides, and then we can take questions for 5 minutes. Okay, be prepared for the perfect storm, and this is again something to be wary of. As you know, as agencies who are building websites, we will use the same tool. So we might use Visual Bakery, we might use WP Bakery, we might use Elementor, we might use so same plugins on multiple sites, or same themes on multiple sites. And when that plugin gets a build has a vulnerability, and we've seen this happen so many times, you'll suddenly see that 5 or 8 or 10 of your sites got hacked at the same time. And you need to be prepared for this eventuality. Hopefully it doesn't happen with you, but if it happens, it can really be a, yeah, I can assure you that's not a time that you want to be fending off, or that's a day which you want to definitely avoid. But because we are in this business, it's best to be prepared for it. So be wary of it. It can happen, and we have seen this happen to a lot of our customers. Having the right set of tooling is very important. When these big vulnerabilities break, so often the cleaning services also get swamped, and you will see that they will take days and weeks to respond to cleanup requests. And in those cases, uh, the longer the hack is around, the more damage it causes, and the more difficult conversations you're having with your clients. So just be prepared for it. Think of the right tooling you have, and have an emergency or a disaster recovery plan. Okay. Again, I just wanted to quickly talk about WP Remote. That's our product, which lets you manage multiple websites, one dashboard, one plugin. It has perfect backups powered by BlogVault. It has fantastic security with inbuilt cleaning, one will great scanning, malware removal, firewall. It has visual regression testing if you're doing updates, and it has an integrated staging environment. So we'd love to have you test out our product. I'm sure you'll find this to be a great tool to build your maintenance service. And that's it. Thanks. I'm Akshat C on Twitter, and WP Remote is my website. So thank you so much. I'm just going to stop the presentation, and happy to answer any questions.
That is fantastic, Akshat. Thank you so much. And obviously, you can always reach out in the booth of WP Remote as well. And you could win some pretty nice discounts. And what I love about the spinning wheel that you have here, you threw in a license of Docket WP, which is a product of a friend of mine, Kai van Dusen. So that just goes to show that you don't just care about your businesses, you're really contributing to the community, and you're thinking around the edges, if you will. You're thinking one step further on how you can build something of value here. Now, what I would love to know, as we don't have any new questions coming in right now, what I would love to know, Akshat, is with WP Remote, what exactly does the day-to-day look like? When an agency has like 25 websites in WP Remote, what task exactly can it help them with?
So with WP Remote, it's an all-in-one product. So it makes sure that a lot of WP Remote actually is just about staying in the background, making sure that the websites are backed up, security is taken care of. So it's actually, the job is to stay out of your site, right? On a day-to-day basis, what you will use WP Remote as is to do updates. So that's going to be one of the very big ones. When to update all your client websites as they happen, if there are, and just do it with a click of a button. What do you call? Do a visual regression testing on it, so you know that the websites have not broken before and after an update. You can do a whole bunch of things. You can create reports on an ongoing basis. You can manage your clients, assign websites to clients. It's a complete feature set. In case something breaks, you can restore anything with a click of a button. If your sites get hacked, if it breaks, or if it's not available, then you'll be the first to know through all sorts of alarms, email, Slack, or different types of notifications.
The entire computer is screaming at you when the site gets hacked. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the good thing is we'll be the first ones to inform you. The worst thing that can happen to you is if Google lets you know. So that's too late. So that's what WP Remote will let you do. And there's a lot more to it. It gives you single sign-on to any of your websites. It lets you search all your websites and stuff like that. So there's a lot more to it.
I love it. Thank you so much for the breakdown, Akshat. And as we are approaching the 1 hour mark for the session that we scheduled here, due to the slight delay that I caused in the beginning, I'd like to wrap up this session and again drive people to the WP Remote booth on the WP Agency Summit. That is in the header menu, or it is WP Agency Summit /WP-Remote. If you want to learn more about that, Akshat C on Twitter. Akshat, thank you so much for spending the time with us today.
And thank you so much. Thank you for the great questions. And sorry for the last part where I had to hurry a bit.
No problem. That's all on me.